Good evening, everybody. Here's Joe's hydroponic report from the garage garden. I have resorted to tying up my peas. They are growing into the light, and the plants will get burned if they spend too much time right against the light. So I raise the light up as high as I can for now. I might get it a little higher for the sake of the peas. Problem is, though, the peas are so much taller than the other plants that with the LEDs it starts to reduce the amount of light. But luckily these plants get some of the spillover from the big high intensity halides I've got, or high pressure sodium, I guess they are. So the peas are in flower very nicely. We've got we'll have a couple hundred peas at the most, from these plants. Peas, just don't produce enough. If the stalks are still edible by the time the peas are in, hey, there's a pea. Boom. First one. There's another. All right, they're happening. You can also eat the shoots. We'll see how that goes if we get any shoots as well. They may be too old and tough. And I've eaten a few here and there in passing. Carrots are... I don't see the... Oh, there's one. No, that's the emitter. Dumbass. All right. Not done yet. I think we should see the tops of the carrots a little bit, but... So I've got my baby tomatoes in here, and I had to cut them almost in half. You can see right here a big cut. There's another big side branch on all of these. Very vigorous, these tomatoes, and you can see this guy here got cut in half. And reason being, I want to train a single vine on all of them. And they were already turned into multiple vines. And furthermore, I'm really trying to keep them trained. So, down, boy, down. Good girl. Okay, what other news we got? We've been getting strawberries. We've been getting about 5-6 strawberries every day or two. And Bianca's promised to come and prune them. Yeah, she did prune them a little bit, looks like. Doing really good. And my new trays should be here tomorrow to replace these little trays here, and then 2 more here. 4 taller trays for these fun drain systems. There's those little carrots that you saw. I'm not the same brand, right? But this LED here is twice as big as these here, and makes a big difference. I've noticed that the vigor of the plants is much less in general under these smaller lights. So they are probably going to get replaced with more the tube style fluorescents or LEDs that are longer, and probably just be longer LEDs is what they're doing now. All right. Those are expensive as anything though, so I don't really want to do it. The supplemental light from my HIDs should be enough. So lettuces have been, everything's been slow because it's February, and we've been having some real cold nights, but we've got a couple of baby chards, and see this real leggy, real slow to like, I don't want to live, I don't want to, I just can't go on. They're not doing great. That one's doing better. That's how they should look. Close to the thing, not all long like that, and look, and a little bigger. That kale is gonna do fine, actually. Kale kind of grow like that. I actually may take that kale out and put it in a pot, because kale can live for a real long time, and it's not ideal in this NFT system. Like, look at this kale. It's got 2 branches. I've plucked the heck out of it for I don't know, almost 6 months, it seems like. This kale has been here for at least 4 months. And I just keep plucking at it, and I don't cut it down because it keeps producing more nice sized leaves. So everything's a little smallish right now. The charge seems to like the cold weather. The basil does not like the cold weather. It bolted immediately, and didn't really take off just due to the cold. So I have a heater, and that heater actually keeps it above 60 during the day, and at night the big lights on the ceiling also keep it above 60, but there's still a cool in the air. And there's been a few days where I didn't get the heater on in the morning, and it got too cold in here. So that definitely, middle of winter. The hell. What I need is the passive geothermal. We have the cheapest power in California, in case you're wondering. I do not have solar panels, unfortunately, but our electricity is so cheap that it's costing me about $50 a month to run all this stuff. And it seems like an okay price. If I was still in San Francisco, it would be really expensive, and up here it's not. Crazy tomatoes. So there you go. And that one for a snack. You can see what happened in the cold. Look at the color that my chard turned. It wasn't anywhere near that. It's almost like fuchsia. So that's the garden. Yeah, so that's the next phase is after I get those 4 shelves set up with the radishes and the carrots a little better, we'll be harvesting the carrots in probably another week. And the peas we'll harvest over the next few weeks. And then that will go into another whole setup probably, because we'll have the carrots over here and peas will be starting outside. So we can actually plant peas now outside. And then the next thing will be putting in the new tomato system, which I've got most of the pieces for that have arrived the last few days too. And I'll be putting those big tomatoes that are over there and these new ones, which I hope 1 or 2 of these is a cherry tomato. I mix them up. That looks like it's going to be a nice plant when it takes off, whatever it is. This one should be the cherry tomato. And this one, by the look of it, it looks like it might be that. That might be a cherry or might be the beefsteak. By the look of the little babies, it looks kind of like that beefsteak. But hopefully it's a cherry tomato, because that beefsteak is like a wild animal that I got to deal with. So I hope you find this relaxing. We're still getting yellow peppers off of the pepper plant. Hanging out in the garden is relaxing. They're really good. Mini bell. And looks like I've got, that is the full-size bell. And hope that comes in. Looks like there's another one behind it. That's a red bell pepper. It's just starting out in life. And another here. Looks like we got 3. If you saw my videos a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at those, and then there's another one here. So wow. So that worked out well. I was hoping for that. I harvested the last couple of peppers, and I was like, oh well, I hope those flowers take off now that there's no peppers on the plant. And it seems to have worked. Hopefully the weather will keep going up, and it doesn't seem to be a happy plant really. There's a lot of lower leaves dead. I just pulled off, probably because of the cold, but then the end of the plant is young and healthy with a bunch of also baby peppers on it. So that, that's kind of how I grow plants, is I let them just kind of follow their natural life cycle, which means the plants end up getting kind of bigger and bigger. And I know, people do a better job at pruning, and hasn't been something I've learned to do. Trying to get that to just catch on the string so it'll go up. There we go. You gonna stay? Nope. Well, it'll find its way now that it knows the string is there. So that's a new cucumber. That's since I planted it in this pot, it's almost doubled. It's about this long, and hopefully that will just keep heading for the light and establish itself here. I put it there strategically, and I pulled the peppers back to make sure that this kind of shaft of light came down. This is a lemon cucumber, which look how stout it looks now. It's way more stout, and that's because it spent the last month not growing too many more leaves, but growing, I bet, a real healthy root system. So that's terrific to see. It's like bouncy. It's like boom. It's like the firm buttocks of a teenager. Some teenagers, not that all teenagers must have a firm buttocks. All right. Before I say something offensive to somebody, I'm gonna pick those tomatoes. There we go. Oh, nice. What happens is when I don't see them, they get a little older, a little bigger. Wow. Nice. Really nice size. Nice. Alrighty. There's a couple more up there in this bunch. Lost them. There they are. Boy, they're really ready. They just pop right into my hand. All right, we've gotten just hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes. This is all one plant too. All that tomatoes that you see is 2 plants. All of that. Really, it's 3, but one of them is started so much later and has been so buried that I don't even know if where it is or what's happening with it. But let's say 2.5 plants, and most of it is actually the big tomatoes, the big beefsteak. And we've gotten lots of tomatoes. We've gotten at least 30, 40 tomatoes off of that already, and there's lots of them on there all the time. It seems like there's a bunch of tomatoes all over. I just picked 6 yesterday, and I'm picking a few more today. No, it's not quite ready, but the weight of it is really something. Right. And this cucumber plant kind of seems like it's on its way out, which is why I've got the young ones coming in. Here's another young cucumber that needs to get into the system so it has a string on it. And what else? I think that's it. Yeah, this cucumber needs... Oh, boy. You know, the cukes are fine. It's just I need to prune the leaves. Big time. So, that's the hydroponic report from Shishido Alley in Northern California. Back to you, Jim.